are the GoRuck Ballistic Trainers, and they are my favorite shoe ever. If you follow the CrossFit Games at all, you might have noticed that GoRuck have sponsored events in years past, running events with their rucks and things like that. But this year they're actually the major sponsor of the CrossFit Games, and it's primarily, I think, to push their shoes, which have been out for a few years, but they've kind of flown under the radar. I first actually saw these shoes in person at an affiliate gathering, and a guy by the name of Daniel Chaffee, who works for CrossFit, he's from France, he was wearing a pair of these shoes, and like there's basically no logo on this model. You can't really see what they are, and I asked him what the deal is, and he said these are GoRuck Ballistic Trainers. They're the best shoes I've ever worn, and now they've ended up sponsoring the CrossFit Games. So I don't know if there was something there, but Daniel Chaffee, thanks for the heads up. The reason I love these shoes, the sole isn't stupidly hard like some of the current trainers on the market. You can actually run in them. They've got an 8mm heel to toe drop, which means they've got just a little bit more wedge than your average training shoe like a Metcon or an X3, and that makes them a bit better to run in, a little bit better to lift in, and I haven't found any downsides at all. The heel is also nowhere near as firm as something like the Metcon that's got that stupid plastic lifting wedge in there. I wear these for everything now, whether it's got running, double unders, heavy lifting. I barely bother putting my lifters on or my runners on unless it's something really long running or if it's really heavy squatting. The upper is made from like a knit at the front, and then this abrasion resistant Cordura nylon down the back. So far, the ones that I've been wearing, which admittedly has only been for a few months, have held up way better than Metcons or Nanos. In the box, you actually get 2 sets of footbeds. I told you I bought like 4 pairs of these. This is a pair that I'm saving for later. They come installed with this molded footbed, which has arch support, but I actually prefer the spare ones that are completely flat. It's great that they give you both options, and I definitely wasn't as comfortable in them until I swapped out to the flats. They do only come with 1 set of laces in the black, but my black and green pair actually came with brown laces and green laces. So I don't know what the deal is with the other colorways, but Black and Gum only comes with 1 set of laces. When it comes to sizing, it was kind of hard to tell from the internet what size to order. Some places say size up, some say size down, and on the official GoRuck website it says true to size. I ended up ordering 10.5s, which are the same as I've been running in Metcons ever since I think the 3 or the 4, and the same that I would have been running in Nanos in the X3. Other Nanos have been a little bit weird, but the X3 I'm a 10.5, Metcons 10.5, and now GoRuck Ballistic Trainers are 10.5. So I would say if you're not sure, order true to size and go from there. I'm going to do a quick little back-to-back running test and compare the Nano X3, the Metcon, and then the Ballistic Trainers, just to see if I can feel the difference while running. This microphone sucks. First of all, I just put the X3 on it, and it's definitely got a little bit more padding than the Ballistic Trainer in the upper. Just feels a little bit softer and more like a marshmallow when you put it on. Nano doesn't feel too bad, the X3, but you can definitely feel, if you start to heel strike, you can definitely feel it. I wouldn't want to run too long of a distance in these. Let's flip over to the Metcon. So it's crazy, as soon as you put the Metcon on, you can already hear and feel your heel hitting the ground so much harder, even just walking. They're definitely a specialist shoe, and I think a hybrid between a weightlifting shoe and a training shoe, and almost closer to a weightlifting shoe, I think. It's weird, there's so much structure in the heel of these Metcons. I still get like more heel slip in these than I do in the X3s or the ballistic trainer. It's really odd. It also feels like my toes and forefoot have a lot less in between them and the ground. It doesn't feel super harsh, but it feels thinner. I'm really having a hard time figuring out why I used to like the Metcon so much after doing that little run back to back. So it feels loose here and low, like I've got heel slip. Also somehow like I've got it tied back to these extra lace points, and it still feels like it's not sort of gripping the top sort of part where my foot starts to head up my ankle very well. I don't know. These are now definitely my least favorite shoe. Ballistic trainers. Let's test these out. Just walking out the driveway, they're instantly more comfortable walking, definitely more cushioned. They're also less tight around my toes. My toes have a lot more space. They definitely have a much wider toe box than the Metcons, but I don't feel loose in them, even though I didn't tighten the laces up too much. Heel striking, no problem. They're definitely not a full-on running shoe. Much more comfortable than both the Metcon and the X3. When it comes to running, ballistic trainers, GoRuck ballistic trainers are definitely the pick out of the shoes that I've tried. I've also found them great to lift in, but you know, my max clean and jerk's not much over 80 kilos, so someone else bigger and stronger than me is gonna have to do the lifting test on these. Overall, I would say these are closer in feel to the X3 than the Metcon. The Metcon from like the 7s and 8s, this plastic heel is so firm. If you're running, you really need to run on your toes. Same with box jumps and stuff like that. Otherwise, when you hit this heel, it's just so firm. I really sort of stopped wearing these much at all because walking around in them is just, I think, uncomfortable. That being said, you know, they're a great performance shoe for rope climbs, that kind of stuff. They do lock you in pretty well, and they're a great lifting shoe as well. But overall, I don't really see any benefit that would make me want to put these on over the ballistic trainers. The funniest thing about the Metcons is they've got this lace lock, because we all know Metcon laces come undone. Still doesn't really seem to stop them from coming undone. Haven't had any issues with the ballistic trainers coming undone. As long as you double knot them, they stay done up with no stupid lace locks or anything. So, point ballistic trainers, buy Metcons. The X3s, look, I really like these shoes. I just don't particularly like the look of them. And overall fit is definitely better on the ballistic trainers. They're just more comfortable and better for everyday use. So that's why for now I've kind of retired these as well. One exception is the X3 Fronings. I still really like these for day-to-day wear and being able to slip them on and off. If I had to do a workout where I was going to change to lifters and back again, I'd potentially wear these, because you can just slide them on and off and tighten up the laces with these things. They're super comfortable, but I don't really love the color, and again, just prefer these for everything in general. They do also have these extra lace eyelets if you really need to lock yourself in, but I haven't found the need to do those up even with running and that kind of stuff, but they're there if you need them. Speaking of running, I also bought the GoRuck runners. Now, these weren't as immediately awesome as the ballistic trainers. The sizing is ever so slightly different. I went 10.5s as well, but my toes, I do find they're a little bit closer to the end. But overall, I do find them super comfortable. Once again, available in black and gum. Thanks GoRuck for not just making stupid bright colors. The ventilation's really good. They've got a good stable upper, and I found really well cushioned sole, but not sort of as over cushioned as my previous running shoes, which are the Pegasus Trail 3s. As far as which one of these I prefer to put on and run in, if it was a longer run, I would definitely put these on. Otherwise, I'll basically wear the ballistic trainers all the time. One thing I forgot to mention, the toe box. Everyone talks about the toe box these days. It is fairly wide and comfortable. I don't find it too wide. I'm not slipping around in there all over the place. I don't have an overly wide foot. It's definitely wider than the Metcon, for sure. The Metcons are really snug fit. These are much more comfortable, let your toes sort of spread out a bit, much more comfortable for all day wear. And I would say they're probably similar, pretty close to the Nanos in terms of the toe box width. That's just from my experience anyway. One final thing is, I think they're updating their colors and designs slightly at the moment. So there is still a black and gum, but they've got a little GoRuck logo here now. And I think the gum's a little bit lighter on the sole. So just be aware of that. So you'll notice that of what's available, some of them will have a small GoRuck patch logo on the outside. It's still pretty subtle, but it is there, and some of them won't. And I think that's sort of newer ones coming in versus older ones that they're running out stock of. So if you want something that doesn't have that GoRuck patch on it, you better jump on it soon. And as far as I know, there's no difference in the construction of the shoe other than that new patch and slightly different colors. All right, that's it. Go buy some shoes. You need an excuse to buy new shoes, so this is it. As you can see, I'm a little bit obsessed. I'm a GoRuck fanboy now, and I will be until some other better shoe comes out. We'll see what that is.